Commander Vrell'thos sat in the emergency pod, his 3 fingers trembling as they hovered over the transmission button. Blood, thick and purple, oozed from the gash across his thorax. Around him, the silence of deep space pressed in like a tomb. "This is Commander Vrell'thos of the Galactic Concordance 3rd Fleet," he began, his voice cracking through the recorder. "I am the sole survivor of Operation Earthfall. If you're receiving this, do not go to Earth. I repeat, do not go to Earth." He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. Where to even start? How do you explain that 60,000 of the Concordance's finest warriors, equipped with plasma rifles and graviton tanks, got absolutely demolished by a single species on a backwater planet that should have been an easy conquest? "It started 3 cycles ago," Vrell'thos continued, his secondary eyes darting to the pod's tiny viewport. "High Command received reports of a Class 7 civilization on Sol 3. The humans called it Earth. They had primitive chemical rockets, nuclear weapons, and absolutely no shielding technology. The invasion should have taken 6 rotations, maybe 7 if they put up a decent fight." He laughed, though it sounded more like choking. "The initial scans showed their planet was already trying to kill them. 70% water, most of it undrinkable. Weather patterns that spawned rotating wind columns capable of leveling entire settlements. Tectonic plates that shift without warning. Microscopic organisms everywhere, constantly trying to break down organic matter. And the gravity, by the ancestors, the gravity, 0.98 standard units. We needed exosuits just to walk properly." Vrell'thos adjusted his position, wincing as pain shot through his damaged carapace. "We landed in a region they called Australia. The strategic computers picked it because it looked empty. Flat terrain, minimal population centers, perfect for establishing a beachhead. What the computers did not account for was that the Australians made their home in a continental death trap and thought it was funny." His voice took on a hysterical edge. "Everything there wanted us dead. Everything. We lost 12 scouts to creatures they called spiders within the first rotation. Not battle spiders, mind you, just spiders. 8-legged ambush predators the size of your face, hiding in boots and sleeping quarters. Private Kesslin died screaming because one crawled into his helmet. Another soldier got bitten by something called a snake, and his entire circulatory system shut down in minutes. The medics could not synthesize an antidote fast enough." He took a shuddering breath. "Then we encountered the humans themselves. We expected them to panic, to scatter. Instead, they organized. Within 2 rotations, they had figured out our weapon frequencies and started building countermeasures using their primitive technology. A human engineer named Marcus disabled 3 of our hover tanks using nothing but kitchen chemicals and a delivery drone. A kitchen, for ancestors' sake." Vrell'thos pulled up a holographic display, showing grainy footage of the battles. General Thaxmore ordered a full assault on a city called Sydney. 8,000 troops, air support, artillery bombardment. The humans responded by flooding their own subway tunnels to trap our ground forces, then collapsed several buildings on top of our positions. They fought us in the rubble for 6 rotations. Their soldiers did not retreat. They just kept coming. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. But the worst part? The humans were not even scared. They were angry. We intercepted their communications. They were making jokes about us. Jokes. While we were killing them, they were sharing something called memes, laughing at our tactics, giving our ships insulting nicknames. The commander's antenna drooped. We adapted and pushed inland, but Earth itself seemed to fight alongside them. Storms grounded our aircraft. Their diseases, which should not have affected our biology, mutated and spread through our ranks. Something called influenza killed more of our soldiers than human weapons did in the first week. His fingers danced across the control panel, pulling up more data. The turning point came when we engaged a human military unit near a place called the Blue Mountains. We outnumbered them 3-1. Superior weapons, better armor, tactical advantage. But humans, we learned, do not care about tactical disadvantages. Their commander, a female named Colonel Briggs, led a counterattack that should have been suicide. Instead, it turned into a rout. Vrell'thos closed his eyes. They used the terrain against us, lured us into narrow canyons where our numbers meant nothing, triggered rock slides, set fires that moved faster than we could run in that cursed gravity. And when we finally cornered them, thinking victory was ours, they called in something called danger close artillery on their own position. They were willing to die just to take us with them. The pod shuddered slightly as it drifted through a debris field. After 40 rotations, we had lost 70% of our forces. After 40 rotations, we had lost 70% of our forces, Vrell'thos repeated, his voice hollow. General Thaxmore refused to admit defeat. He kept saying these were just primitive mammals, that we simply needed better tactics. So he ordered the deployment of our biological weapons. The commander's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme distress. The humans intercepted the deployment sequence. Do you understand what I'm saying? They hacked our military encryption using their laughably outdated computer systems. A teenager, someone not even considered an adult in their society, broke through security protocols that took our best engineers 300 cycles to develop. His name was Kevin. Kevin. Vrell'thos pulled up another report, scrolling through casualty lists that seemed endless. When they realized we were attempting biological warfare, the humans stopped holding back. Every nation on their fractured little planet, all those groups that spent centuries fighting each other, they unified in about 12 rotations. Suddenly, we were not facing scattered resistance anymore. We were facing a coordinated global counteroffensive from a species that apparently invented warfare as a hobby. He coughed, purple blood flecking his mandibles. They hit our command carrier with a modified satellite weapon. Just grabbed one of their communication satellites, strapped some chemical explosives to it, and crashed it into our flagship at orbital velocity. Thaxmore died instantly, along with 4,000 crew members. The humans called it percussive maintenance. They named the satellite Sally. The absurdity of it made him laugh again, that same broken sound. Without central command, the fleet fractured. Captain Zelvik tried to organize a retreat, but the humans had already figured out our jump drive signatures. They were tracking every ship. A pilot named Jackson, flying a craft held together with actual adhesive tape and what they called duct tape, managed to destroy 2 of our cruisers by ramming his fighter into their reactor cores. He survived somehow, ejected at the last second, and his government gave him a medal. They gave him a medal for what should have been a suicide run, except humans are apparently too stubborn to die when they are supposed to. Vrell'thos adjusted the transmission frequency, making sure every word would be preserved. The final battle happened near their moon. We thought we could regroup there, out of range of their primitive rockets. We were wrong. The humans launched everything they had. Nuclear missiles modified with our own stolen technology, kinetic weapons, experimental lasers powered by their electrical grids. They even weaponized their space debris, turned orbital garbage into shrapnel clouds that shredded our lighter vessels. His secondary eyes filmed over with exhaustion. I watched the dreadnought Eternal Conquest get taken down by a weapon the humans built in 6 rotations. 6 rotations. It takes us 3 cycles just to design a new rifle. They built a particle cannon using parts from 17 different countries, powered it with their nuclear reactors, and fired it from the surface of their planet through 90 kilometers of atmosphere. The shot was so precise it hit our reactor from 100,000 kilometers away. The commander pressed his thorax, trying to stop the bleeding. When my transport got hit, I was loading wounded into escape pods. The hull breached, and I watched 30 soldiers get vaporized by human plasma fire. Yes, plasma fire. They reverse-engineered our weapons in 40 rotations and made them more efficient. Their version uses 30% less power and hits 20% harder. We got outgunned by our own technology. He stared at the stars through the viewport. I managed to reach this pod and launch. As I left orbit, I saw what remained of our grand invasion force. Burning hulks, debris fields, distress beacons going unanswered because there was nobody left to answer them. 60,000 warriors reduced to wreckage and memory. The humans broadcast a message on all frequencies. They said thank you for donating the scrap metal. They would put it to good use. Vrell'thos leaned back, exhaustion finally overtaking adrenaline. So here I am, drifting in a survival pod, waiting for rescue that might never come. The humans could have destroyed this pod easily. They tracked it. I saw their fighters approach. But they let me go. One of their pilots opened a communication channel and said, "Tell your friends we're always home if they want to visit again." Then he waggled his wings and flew away. The commander looked directly into the recording device. If the Concordance receives this message, mark Earth as forbidden territory. Quarantine the entire system. Those humans are living on a planet that constantly tries to exterminate them, and they think it is normal. They have been fighting their own world, their own diseases, their own natural disasters for their entire evolutionary history. They turn survival into an art form and warfare into a science. He paused one final time. We did not invade a primitive civilization. We stumbled into a death world inhabited by apex predators who figured out space travel despite their planet's best efforts to kill them. They are not ready for the galaxy. The galaxy is not ready for them. Vrell'thos reached forward and stopped the recording. Outside the pod, stars glittered indifferently. Somewhere behind him, Earth continued spinning, and its inhabitants probably already forgot about the aliens who thought conquering them would be easy. They had bigger problems to worry about, like hurricanes and taxes and whether pineapple belonged on pizza. The commander closed his eyes and waited for rescue, knowing that every species in the Concordance would soon learn the same lesson he had. Never underestimate the species that made a game show out of eating poisonous plants and calls it fun. If this story entertained or taught you something, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.